No. All right. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome back to our English class, and welcome back to our second session on the delicious world of food. Again, this is part two of the food vocabulary lesson. And yesterday, in our last lesson, we started a journey through the kitchen. No, we learned the first three categories under food. Okay, so we learned, of course, we started with fruits, followed by vegetables, and then the dairy products. Those were the different categories that we've learned yesterday or last meeting, where each category has 5 words each. Okay? Now, I hope everybody is ready for today's or tonight's session. Um, I hope you are all comfortable where you are right now, listening to me or watching this particular video. No? So I hope everybody is ready because of course we are going to immediately continue with where we left off yesterday. Now, um before that, let's do a quick review on what are the different words or vocabulary pertaining to food in different categories that we learned yesterday. Starting with fruits: apple, banana, orange, grape, and strawberry. Next, we have vegetables, under which we have carrot, potato, tomato, lettuce, and onion. And last one are the dairy products, which includes milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, and cream. Now, before we do we dig deeper to the rest of the vocabulary you are learning, let's have these different categories. No, so an overview of the categories left. There are 4 categories left for this session or for the session on food vocabulary. First category is meat and seafood. Next is grains and bread, followed by drinks, and last one, of course, the sweets and snacks. So we are going to start or officially start with meat and seafood. Are we all ready? You can always use the chat box, no, to give responses to me about what you are listening or watching right now. Okay? It could be a statement, an agreement, or even a question. I will constantly check the chat box so as to not, to recognize you. Okay? Again, you can use the chat box, everyone. Anyway, we're going to start with meat and seafood. Before that, let's take a deep breath, no? So as to really get more comfortable listening to me as I continue with my session on food. So let's take a simple deep breath. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale, exhale. Okay. So you release all those negative energy, no? Okay. Now, first off, is the meat and seafood category under food vocabulary. Now, same with the rest of the categories. There will be five example words each category. Okay? All right. Now, when it comes to meat and seafood, this is our section. No, this group is full of protein, which is like the building blocks of our muscles. So um, it gives or it help you to build muscles. Now, meat comes from animals that live on land, while seafood comes from animals that live in the water. Now, in this lesson, we'll learn about five popular choices, which includes the chicken, the beef, the fish, shrimp, and pork. Okay? So we will talk about how they look, how they taste, and how people like to cook them for dinner. Now, understanding these words will help you talk about healthy meals and order food with confidence. Now, among these five, three of them are animals that live in the land, which are the chicken, beef, and pork. And for the fish and shrimp, they are or they came from animals that live in the water. Okay? Now, let's start with chicken. Okay, for a moment, I'm just going to check if I'm okay. All good. My presentation is all good. Okay. Now, let's start with chicken, the world's favorite bird. Now, chicken is a type of meat that comes from a bird. No, grilled chicken is a popular healthy choice, as mentioned here. So that's just one of the many ways or cooking methods for chicken. Now, in the English language, everyone, we call the living animal a chicken, and we also call the meat chicken. No, so it's just the same. So it's not that, complicated for this one, unlike the others. Now, this is different from some other animals like the beef and the pork. No, later on you will know what animal they came from. Now, chicken is the most popular poultry in the world. So, poultry, it is a special word that we use for birds that humans raise for food. No, so it includes ducks or turkeys, and of course, chicken. Almost every country in the world has a famous dish made with chicken. So it's a universal food because it is easy to find. No, it is easy to find, it is easy to cook, and most people like the taste. Now, when we talk about chicken in English, it is important to know the different parts of the bird, no? Because not everyone has the same particular favorite part. No, as for me, I like the wings. I don't know if you like the breast, the drumsticks, the thighs. So it's different for each person. Now, I've mentioned the breast. So the breast is the white meat from the front of the bird. So that's where it is. No, that's the location when it comes to seeing the whole body of the chicken. So it is very healthy because the breast has almost no fat. No, so many people choose the breast if they are on a diet. Usually, no. So the wings, which is my favorite. They are small and they are fun to eat as a snack. No, I like eating it because it's not that easy. There are bones, there are bones, no, usually. There are bones and wings, and it's just fun to eat, no? It being complicated is fun to eat. So it's not boring for me. No, I like to eat my food excitingly. Anyway, wings again, they are small. They are really fun to eat as a snack, especially the buffalo wings, which are spicy. Now, for the thighs and the drumsticks, they are the legs, no? Those were the different parts, no, famous parts of the chicken: the breast, the wings, the thighs, and the drumsticks. Now, chicken meat is slightly darker and it has more fat, so it stays very juicy when you cook it. So we call this the dark meat. Now, learning the names of these parts is very helpful when you go to a supermarket or order food at a restaurant. No? Because of course, when cooking chicken, it's different parts usually. So it's good that you try to differentiate. You try to specify which part do you like to eat. Okay? Now, I've mentioned earlier there are plenty of cooking methods for chicken, one of which is what was mentioned in the slide, grilling. So one reason chicken is so popular is that it is very versatile. Versatile meaning that it can do many different things. No, you can cook chicken in many ways. First off, grilling. As mentioned here. Now, when we talk about grilling, you cook the chicken over a fire or on a grill. So this is a very healthy way to eat because the extra fat really drips away. Next to that is roasting. So roasting, you put the whole chicken in a hot oven, and the skin becomes brown and crispy. And the inside, no, the inside of the chicken, it stays soft. Next is the famous one, frying. You cover pieces of chicken in flour and cook them in hot oil. So this is fried chicken. It is very crunchy and savory. And last one, boiling. So you put chicken in a pot of water to make chicken soup, no? And many people drink this when they have a cold because it makes them feel better because it's really hot. So those are the different cooking methods for chicken. Now, for the flavor of the chicken, it usually depends, no? It usually depends to each person. Chicken has a mild flavor, so mild means the taste is not too strong. Because the taste is mild, chicken is like, let's say a blank canvas, which for a painter, you can add many different spices to it. So you can make it spicy with chili peppers, you can make it sweet with honey or sour with lemon. So it absorbs the flavor of whatever you cook it with. This is why chicken is a great food for learning about spices and sauces. Now, of course, we're not gonna forget the health benefits of chicken, of eating chicken. Now, chicken is a very healthy choice for a meal. I've mentioned that already in the introduction, right? It is full of protein because it is meat, and protein is what your body uses to build muscles and to stay strong. And because chicken is lean, meaning it has little fat, it is good for your heart. So if you eat chicken with vegetables, you are eating a very balanced meal. It gives you a lot of energy without making you feel too heavy or too tired. No? So that is chicken. Now let's move on to, are we following? Before I move on, are we following everyone? You can send your responses in the chat box. Okay? All right. Let's move on to beef. This is a very rich red meat. Inside of it is red usually. So beef, what is it? Beef a steak is loved for its rich flavor. That's a famous cooking method of or type of beef dish, beef steak. Okay, but what is beef? Beef is it is a meat that comes from what animal? What do you think? When we talk about beef, what animal it came from? It is from a cow. No? So beef is a meat that comes from a cow. Unlike chicken, beef is a red meat. This is because the meat is dark red when it is raw and it stays a dark color when it is cooked. Just like what you see in the picture. Beef has a very bold and intense flavor, so it tastes much stronger than chicken. So for many people, a beef dinner feels like a special treat or a very big meal, no? So because aside from it, bold and intense, from it having bold and intense flavor, it is also expensive. But anyway, beef, the famous beef steak, no? When people think of beef, they often think of steak. So a steak, it is a thick slice of beef. So in a restaurant, the waiter will ask you a very important question. How would you like your steak cooked, mom or sir? So this is a great chance to practice your English. Again, the question, how would you like your steak cooked? They always ask that, of course, because just like with chicken, no, where we have different preferences when it comes to the parts of the chicken that we like, beef has also different parts, or not parts but different ways for it to be cooked, especially when we're talking about beef steak. Okay, so and there are different preferences also. We have usually three: rare, medium, and well done. Okay, so there are three: rare, medium, and well done. Now, when we talk about the rare, the meat is very red and cool in the middle. No, that is rare. Medium, the meat is pink and warm in the middle. And then well done, the meat is brown all the way through and very firm. So every person has a different favorite way to eat steak. No, some people think a medium rare steak is the most delicious because it is very juicy. Okay? All right. Now, um beef, I'm sorry. Beef, of course, does not always come as a steak. Sometimes the meat is put into a machine and turned into what we call ground beef. No, ground beef looks like tiny pieces of meat. We use ground beef to make two very famous foods: the hamburgers and the meatballs. So hamburgers are a classic American food, usually served on a bun with cheese, with lettuce, with tomato. And we also use beef in stews. A stew is a meal where beef is cooked slowly in a pot with water, with potatoes, with carrots for a really long time until the meat is so soft that it almost melts in your mouth. Because beef, unlike chicken, it really cooks so long, no? And it takes longer time to make it soft. Not the meat to make the meat soft. Now, of course, health benefits. Beef is very good for your blood because it has a lot of iron. No? Iron is a mineral that helps your blood carry oxygen to your brain and your muscles. So if you feel very tired, eating a little beef can help you feel more energetic. Aside from that, it also has B vitamins, which are good for your nervous system. However, because beef has more fat than chicken, it is usually better to eat it only a few times a week rather than every single day. No? So, that is beef. No, that's the second food under meat and seafood. Now, are we all clear with beef? Okay. Let's move on to the first type of meat that lives in the water. The very famous one, fish. No, this is a gift of the water. So fresh fish is great for healthy meals. Now, everyone, fish is a very important food for people who live near the water. It is part of a group of food we call seafood. No, so there are thousands of different kinds of fish that we can eat. Some of fish live in the ocean, which is a salt water, and some live in the lakes or rivers, which is a freshwater. No, or which are freshwater waters. So the taste of the fish often depends on where it lived. Fish that lived in cold, um, deep water, deep water, it often have more fat and a stronger taste. So that's usually it is. And there are, their living conditions or where they lived, of course, it greatly contributes or influences to how they taste. Now there are different types of fish meat. We usually put fish into two groups: white fish and oily fish. When we talk about white fish, these are fish like cod or tilapia. The meat is very white and it has almost no fat. No, the taste is very light. The taste is very flaky. Now, flaky means the meat breaks into small, thin pieces when you touch it with a fork. So that's flaky. And then, so that's white fish. The second one is oily fish. These are the fish like salmon or tuna. The meat is often pink or orange. So these fishes have more healthy fats. Even though we call them oily, they are very good for you and for your heart. Okay? Now, when it comes to the health benefit of a fish, um, did you know that fish is often called the brain food? Well, this is because fish contains something called omega-3 fatty acids. No, these are special fats that help your brain think better and help your heart stay healthy. So doctors say that eating fish twice a week can help you remember things more easily and it keep your skin looking more clear and bright. So it is one of the healthiest things you can put on your plate and it greatly benefits you. Now, of course, just like with any other meat, we have different ways to cook fish. So, one important thing to learn about fish is that it really cooks very fast, um, unlike the meat that lives in land, because shrimp also cooks very fast. So, if you cook a piece of beef, it might take 10 or 20 minutes for it to really be cooked the way you like it. But a piece of fish might be finished in only 3 or 4 minutes or 5 minutes, let's say. No? You can bake fish in the oven or you can steam it over boiling water. So, steaming is a very healthy way to cook fish because you do not need to use any oil or butter. No, some people even eat fish raw. In Japan, sushi and sashimi use very fresh raw fish. So this is a very special way to taste the natural flavor of the ocean. But of course, it's up to your preferences to what you like, no? How you like your fish be cooked. So it's always ends up in our own preferences. Now, that is fish. Okay? Any questions? So far, we talked about chicken, beef, and fish. No? Let's continue with shrimp, the little shellfish. Shrimp is delicious in pasta or stir fry. So, what is shrimp? Just like what you see in the picture, these are small animals that live in the water. They are not fish, they are called shellfish because they have a hard shell on the outside of their bodies. So, they have many legs, little legs, and they also have a long tail. So shrimp live at the bottom of the ocean or in rivers. They are very popular because they are small, they are easy to eat, and of course they have a very sweet and savory flavor. Now, the most amazing thing about shrimp is their color. So, when a shrimp is alive or raw, it is usually a dull gray or let's say brown color, but usually it's gray. But when you put a shrimp into hot water or hot pan, it changes color almost instantly. No, so fast. It turns in what color? Just like what you see in the picture, it turns into a beautiful bright orange or bright pink color. So it usually changes color instantly meaning so fast, almost immediately. Okay? So in English, we use this to know when the food is ready. If the shrimp is pink and curved like the letter C, it is perfectly cooked. No, just like this one. If it is gray, it is not ready yet. But of course, it's so fast that you will not be mistaken for it to not be cooked. No, because the gray color will immediately change to bright orange color. Now, before you eat a shrimp, you usually have to peel it. No, this means that you take off the hard outer shell because again, this is a shellfish. So some people they also remove the tail, but other people like to hold the shrimp by the tail while they eat it. So you can eat shrimp in many different ways. There are three ways, common ways are shrimp cocktail. So these are cold cooked shrimp served with a spicy tomato sauce. We also have stir fry, as mentioned here. You cook the shrimp very fast in a pan with vegetables and soy sauce. This is my favorite way, no favorite way to cook the shrimp or my shrimp. Okay. And last one is fried shrimp. Fried will always be there. You cover the shrimp in breadcrumbs and fry them until they are gold and crunchy. So, because shrimps are small, you usually eat many of them in one meal. No, not only one. Now, its health benefit. Well, shrimp are very low in calories, which means they do not make you gain weight easily. So they are almost 100% protein. They also have a lot of iodine, which is good for your, thyroid gland. However, some people are allergic to shellfish. Usually, the most common ones, common allergies people have first is the nuts, and then from what I know, no, usually nuts or the shellfish, like the shrimp. So, or seafood in general. Now, this is very important. This is a very important English word to know. If someone is allergic to shrimp, their body has a bad reaction if they eat it. So always ask your friends, everyone, are you allergic to shellfish before you cook a big shrimp dinner? No? So that is shrimp. Now we finished the different types of seafood and we move on to the last type of meat in Sealand. We have the pork. Okay, the versatile meat. So this is the pork. Now, pork chops are savory and excellent for dinner. So that's a very, specific example on how we can cook the pork. But what is pork? Pork is the name for meat that comes from a pig. Okay, let's try to review. If we talk about chicken meat, it came from chicken. If we talk about beef meat, it came from cow. And if we talk about pork meat, it came from pig. Okay? So just like beef and cow, we use a different word for the animal, which is the pig, and the food for which is the pork. Pork is a very interesting meat because it is often called the other white meat. Even though it looks a little bit red when it is raw, it turns a very light color when you cook it. So it is one of the most commonly eaten meats in the world, especially in Europe and Asia. Okay? So pork is really famous because it can be made into so many different things. I'll just mention like four, no, four types or ways to cook it. First is the bacon one. Bacon, when we talk about bacon, these are thin, salty strips of pork that are fried until they are very, very crispy. So many people love the smell of bacon in the morning. Ham is this is the pork that has been cured or saved with salt and they're often smoked. So we use ham in sandwiches or for big holiday dinners. And of course, pork chops. No, these are thick pieces of meat similar to steak but from a pig. So they are very savory and juicy. And lastly, sausages. No, ground pork is mixed with salt and spices and put into a tube shape. So sausages are great for breakfast or for grilling at a barbecue. Okay? So, is pork healthy? Of course. No, pork has a lot of thiamine, which is a B vitamin that helps your body turn food into energy. So, it also has its fair share of vitamins. Now, it also has a lot of zinc. When it comes to zinc, it helps your immune system fight off germs and viruses. So, some parts of the pork, like the tenderloin, are very lean and healthy. So, other parts, like bacon, have a lot of fat and salt. So, it is best to eat those in small amounts. Okay, that is pork. And of course, those are the different meat and seafood, most common ones. First is chicken, followed by beef, and then fish, then shrimp, and last one, pork. Those are the different types of meat and seafood. Again, the meat that lives in the land are chicken, beef from cow, and pork from pig. And then those lived in the water are fish and shrimp. Okay? Any questions for our first category? Let's try to finish off all the categories, but if not, of course, there's tomorrow. No, I explain it really thoroughly or very in detail as much as possible so that you understand what these particular words refer to. No, and it makes it relatable to you. Okay, I guess there's no questions. Oh, I think everyone is following or everybody is following. Let's move on to the next category, which is the grains and bread. So, grains and bread, these food are the energy providers for our bodies. So, grains are the small hard seeds of food plants like wheat, oats, and rice. So, in this lesson, we will learn about five essential items when it comes to grains and bread: rice, bread, pasta, oats, and cereal. So we will talk about how they look, how they provide us with this starch for energy, and how they're used as a base for many different meals. Okay? All right. Let's start with the very staple food, rice. Again, rice is a staple food worldwide for meals. No, not all countries will consider rice as a staple food, but most of them will consider it as a staple food, like the Asian countries, especially here also in where I belong, no, in my country. So rice is what we call a staple food, as mentioned here. A staple food is a food that a person eats almost every single day. No? For billions of people in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, rice is the most important part of their diet. Without rice, many people will be very hungry because we are accustomed to eat it, no? To really be part, like a staple food, to really be part of our meals. So if there are no rice, we get very hungry, no? So rice is actually a small, hard seed that comes from a type of grass. So these seeds grow in very wet fields called paddies, and farmers work very hard to grow rice because it needs a lot of water and a lot of sun. Okay? Now there are different colors for rice. What you see on your screen is white rice. This is the most common type. So the outer shell of the rice is removed, so it is very soft and cooks quickly. Another color is brown rice. This is a whole grain, everyone. It still has the outer shell, so it has more fiber and a nutty flavor. And of course, since it has its outer shell, it takes longer to cook than white rice, but it is very healthy. No? And last one is jasmine and basmati. These are aromatic rices. This means that they have a beautiful smell like a flower or perfume when they are cooking. Okay? So that is rice. How do we, not how do we, but why rice is popular? No, why rice is considered a staple food? Because it is a neutral food. This means that it does not have a very strong taste by itself. And because it is neutral, it is a perfect partner for other savory foods. So if you have a very spicy curry or very salty stir fry, the rice helps to balance the flavor. It is also full of when it comes to health benefits, it has full of complex carbohydrates. And these particular carbohydrates, these give your body energy that lasts for a long time, no? Whether it is a bowl of fried rice or for lunch, for a side of a plain or rice or for dinner, this small grain it is a giant in the world of food. Okay? All right. Now let's move on to another example. Bread. No, the ancient loaf. Bread is often served with butter or jam. That is true. Now, what is bread? Bread is one of the oldest foods in human history. A thousand of years ago, everyone, people discovered that if they crushed wheat into wheat into flour and then mixed it with water and put it near a fire, it would turn a delicious filling meal. Today we use yeast to make bread. So yeast is a living thing that eats sugar and creates air bubbles. These bubbles it make the bread rise or get bigger, and this is why bread feels soft and full of air inside. Now, this will be just short, of course, for bread. Every country has its own special bread. From what I know, in France, they have long, thin loaves called baguettes. In how do you call that? In Middle East, they have pita, which is a flat bread with a pocket inside for meat and vegetables. So some bread is white and very sweet, while the other bread is the whole wheat and very dark and heavy. And the bread is, I consider it as a very or ultimate convenience food. You can eat it for breakfast as toast with butter and jam, as mentioned here. You can eat it for lunch as a sandwich with ham and cheese. You can even eat it for dinner, no, by dipping a piece of crusty bread into a bowl of hot soup. And because it is made from grain, it gives you the energy you need to start your day, no? So the smell of freshly baked bread is often called one of the best smells in the world, and I testify to that. Okay? All right. Following this is pasta. Pasta is a food that is loved by children and adults all over the world. Even though it is most famous in Italy, people everywhere enjoy it. So pasta is made from a very simple dough. A dough is a mix of flour and water, no, sometimes eggs. This dough is rolled out and cut into many different shapes. So when the pasta is fresh, it is soft, but most of the pasta we buy in the store is dried. So dried pasta is very hard and can stay in your kitchen cupboard for many months without going bad. Okay. Now, when it comes to pasta, there are different ways. No, it is a versatile dish enjoyed in various cuisines. So there are different ways to cook it, and there are different types of pasta. No, when it comes to different types of pasta, we look at its shape. Now the one you see in the picture is a spaghetti. No, these are long thin strings. We have penny, short tubes that look like the end of a pen. Fusilli, for shapes that look like a screw or a spiral. Farfalle. These look like little butterflies or bow ties. No, so chefs choose different shapes for different reasons. A thick, heavy sauce needs a strong shape like penny, which of course, should be. While a light oil sauce is perfect for thin spaghetti. No? Okay. So that is pasta. No? It's a versatile meal. It's very versatile. You can eat it with a simple tomato sauce, no marinara, a creamy white sauce, which we call alfredo, or just a little bit of olive oil and garlic. So you can add vegetables, you can add meatballs, you can add seafood like shrimp to make it a bigger meal. No? So do not make it plain because pasta is a carbohydrate. It is a great food for athletes who need a lot of energy before a big game. Okay? That is pasta. Now we move on to oats. Oats are a healthy breakfast option for many. So oats are a type of cereal grain that grows in cool, wet climates. So when they are harvested, the outer shell is removed and the oats are usually rolled or flattened into flakes. These flakes are what we buy at the store because they are flat. They can absorb water or milk very quickly when you heat them up. No? So when you cook oats with a liquid, they become a thick, creamy dish. So in the United Kingdom, they call this porridge. In the United States, they call it oatmeal. So it is one of the most popular breakfast foods in the world because it is very warm and it is very filling. No? On a cold winter morning, a bowl of hot oats is the perfect way to start the day. It warms your body from inside out. No? Okay. Now, when it comes to health benefits, oats are famous for being a superfood. Why? Well, this is because they have a special kind of fiber. Fiber is a part of the plant that our bodies cannot digest, but it's very important because it cleans our digestive system like a broom. So fiber also helps to lower cholesterol, which keeps our hearts healthy. Because oats take a long time for your body to break down, they give you slow release energy. This means you won't feel hungry again for many hours. Okay. Okay. Now, that is oats. Oats, just like what you've seen in the picture, you can make it fun with toppings. So plain oats don't have a lot of flavor. So the fun part is adding the different topics that you like. You can make them sweet, like adding by adding honey, by adding brown sugar or cinnamon. You can also make them fresh by adding blueberries or sliced bananas or strawberries. No, so some people even add nuts like walnuts or almonds for a crunchy texture. And oats are not just for breakfast. You can also use them to make oatmeal cookies or granola bars for a healthy snack. Okay, that is oats. Last one, cereal. Now, cereal is quick and easy for busy mornings. It is one of the fastest and easiest meals in the world. Before cereal was invented, people had to spend a lot of time cooking eggs or porridge or yeah, porridge for breakfast. But in the late 1800s, people found a way to toast and puff grains like corn and rice so they would stay crunchy even when they were cold. And this changed breakfast forever. Now you can have a full meal ready in less than 1 minute. So that's that. Okay. Now, when it comes to the health benefit of cereal, um, for some cereals, they are fortified. Now, fortified is a very important word for health. It just means that the company has added vitamins like vitamin D and minerals like iron for the or to the cereal. This helps children grow big and strong, even if they are picky eaters. No? To eat, to gain the cereal experience, to eat the cereal, you only need three things. First is a bowl, a spoon, and milk. Most people use cow's cold milk, but today many people use plant-based milks like almond milk or soy milk. No, the best part of eating cereal, it is the crunch. As the cereal sits in the milk, it slowly becomes soggy, soft, and wet. So some people like to eat it quickly so it stays crunchy, while others wait a few minutes for it to get soft. No, it depends on your own preference. Okay? Okay, those are different words for grains and bread. First is rice, second bread, third pasta, followed by oats, and lastly cereal. Any questions for grains and bread category? You can always use the chat box, everyone. If there are none, we move on to the third category, drinks. Okay. Drinks, their beverages are just as important as the food we eat, so they help our body stay hydrated. They give us energy or help us relax. So in this lesson, we will learn about five common drinks: water, juice, tea, coffee, and soda. We will talk about why we drink them, how they make us feel when they are usually enjoyed. No? Okay, let's start with water. Water. Now, drink water to stay hydrated and healthy. Water is the most important liquid of all. Water is the most important drink on our planet. So every living thing, every plant, every animal, and every human, we all need water to survive. No? So in English, we call water the source of life. Water is a very simple liquid, so it is clear, which means you can see right through it. It also it is also flavorless, which means it has no taste of its own. Even though it has no taste, nothing feels better than a cold glass of water when you are very thirsty. So we call this feeling thirst quenching. Okay? Now that is water. So fun fact is that your body is actually made of mostly water. And because of this, you need to keep your water levels high. So when you drink enough water, you are hydrated. When you don't drink enough, you become dehydrated. So dehydration can make you feel tired, give you headache, make it hard for your brain to focus, no, etc., etc. What are the doctors suggesting? Drink about 8 glasses of water every day. So water, it helps your blood move through your body. It helps your skin stay soft and clear, and it helps your stomach digest the food you eat. Okay, that is water. Now, there are also different ways we get water. Many people drink tap water, which comes from the pipes in their house. In some cities, tap water is very safe and clean. Other people prefer bottled water or filtered water. You can also find mineral water or spring water, which comes from, deep underground and has natural minerals that are good for your health. So whether it comes from a mountain stream or a kitchen sink, pure water is the healthiest thing you can put into your body. Okay? All right. That is water. Followed by juice. Now, juice is the essence of fruit. Juice is a wonderful drink that brings the flavor of a garden into your glass. So to make juice, you take a fruit or a vegetable and apply pressure. This is called squeezing or extracting. So the liquid comes out and the solid parts are left behind. For example, when you squeeze an orange, you get bright sweet orange juice, right? So when you crush grapes, you get the purple or green grape juice. And because it comes directly from nature, juice is a very popular natural drink. Okay? All right. Now, vitamins for water, although it's very simple, no? And of course, it's very simple and plain. Water is still, not water, but juice. Why am I talking about water? We're already at juice, right? Everyone? Okay, we're already at juice. Now, when it comes to the vitamins of juice, it really varies, or it depends or differs from what kind of fruit you are drinking. No, what kind of juice? But juice in general, it is famous for being vitamin rich. The most famous vitamin in juice is vitamin C. So the vitamin is like the vitamin. Sorry, it's open. Anyway, the vitamin is like a shield for your body. It helps your immune system fight off colds and flu. And because juice comes from fruit, it also has fructose, which is a natural sugar. Okay, which of course boosts our energy. That is juice. Followed by tea. Now, tea is a very old and very soothing drink. It was discovered thousands of years ago in China, and now it is the second most popular drink in the world after water. Imagine. So to make tea, you take dried leaves, you take dried leaves from a tea plant and put them in hot water. So this process is called steeping or brewing. The hot water, it extracts the color and the flavor from the leaves. So the longer you leave the leaves in the water, the stronger the tea will taste. And there are many different families of tea. We have black tea, green tea, herbal tea. When we talk about black tea, this is very strong dark tea. Green tea, it is a tea famous in China and Japan. It is very earthy and fresh taste. It is very healthy also because it has antioxidants. Herbal tea, this is not actually made from tea leaves. It is made from flowers like chamomile, chamomile, roots like ginger or leaves like the mint. No? So most herbal teas have no caffeine, so they are perfect for drinking before you go to sleep. That is tea. Next is coffee. Now, coffee helps me wake up each morning refreshed. Coffee is a dark, powerful drink that many people cannot live without. It starts as a green bean or coffee tree, on a coffee tree. So these beans are roasted in a very hot machine until they turn dark brown and smell wonderful. Now, this smell is called aroma. After the beans are roasted, they are ground into powder. Finally, hot water is pushed through the powder to create the drink we love. Okay, so that is coffee. Well, I've mentioned earlier that many people cannot live without coffee because people drink coffee for the caffeine. Now, caffeine is a stimulant. This means it tells your brain to wake up. It makes your heart beat a little faster and it helps you feel alert and focused. So many of people feel refreshed after the first cup of coffee in the morning. However, if you drink too much coffee, you might feel jittery or nervous. So this is why most people only drink 1 or 2 cups a day. Okay? Now, just like any other, there are many ways to order coffee in English. You can say black coffee, which is just coffee and water, no milk, no sugar. Latte, coffee with a lot of steamed milk. It is very creamy. Espresso, a very small, very strong shot of coffee. And iced coffee, a coffee served cold with the ice cubes. This is great for a hot summer day. No? That is coffee. And then the last one for drink is soda. Soda is often enjoyed at parties and gatherings. Now, soda is a very fun drink. It is the most famous feature. Its most famous feature is the bubbles. Now, these bubbles are made of a gas called carbon dioxide. When a drink has these bubbles, we say it as carbonated or fizzy. So, when you open a bottle of soda, the pressure is released, and you hear a you know psst sound, something like that. So this is the gas escaping. So if you leave a soda open for too long, the bubbles disappear and the drink becomes flat. So most people do not like drinking flat soda because it loses its tingly feeling for the soda. Okay, so soda is a sweetened drink, no, in its essence. So this means that you expect really for this one to has a lot of sugar or sweetener added to it. And because it is so sweet, it comes in many fun flavors, no? The most popular flavor is cola, which is dark. There's like what you see on your screen, which is dark and has a hint of vanilla and cinnamon. Other popular flavors include lemon lime, which is clear, root beer, and orange soda. And because soda is so sweet, it's usually served at parties, at birthday celebrations, or at the cinema with popcorn. Okay? That is soda. Now, doctors call soda or these as empty calories because the drink gives you energy from sugar, but no vitamins or minerals. No, it just gave you energy, but not specific health benefit. Okay, that's why it is called as empty calories. It is best to think of soda as a special treat. So it is something you enjoy once in a while to feel refreshed and happy during during a celebration. And that is drinks. Drinks includes water, juice, tea, coffee, and soda. Any questions? None, because we are going to continue with our last category for food. So, welcome to our final section, everyone, on sweets and snacks. While most of our other food groups provide a fuel, no, our bodies need for daily life, this group is all about flavor and fun. So, these foods are usually high in sugar and they are often enjoyed during parties, during holidays, or a small reward. So, in this lesson, we will learn about candy, chocolate, cookies, ice cream, and cake. Okay? Okay. Let's start with candy. Candy is sweet and loved by kids everywhere. Now, candy is a very broad category of food. In some countries, like the United Kingdom, they call it sweets. In other places, they call it lollies. But no matter the name, the main ingredient is always the same, which is the sugar. So to make candy, sugar is dissolved in water or juice and heated to a very high temperatures. So it depends on how long you cook the sugar. The candy can become as hard as a rock or as soft as a cloud. And because it is almost 100% sugar, candy gives you a very fast sugar rush, which is a lot of energy all at once. Okay? All right. Now, one of the best ways to practice English with candy is using texture words. We have different textures of candy, no? Four, usually. First is hard candy. You do not bite these, you let them dissolve slowly in your mouth. For example, lollipops or fruit drops. Next is chewy candy. These are soft and stay in your mouth for a long time while you chew. So, it includes toffee and caramel are famous chewy candies. Next is gummy candy. These are bouncy. These are flexible like gummy bears. They are often made with gelatin to give them a rubbery but delicious feel. Okay. Now, sour candies. Some candies are covered in a special powder that makes your mouth pucker or tighten up because they are so tart. Okay. So that is candy. And because candy is so sweet and colorful, it is easy to eat too much. But it is important to remind you, everyone, that sugar can cause cavities, which are the small holes in your teeth. So this is why we call candy a treat. So a treat is something special that you eat only sometimes. After eating candy, it is always a good idea to brush your teeth to keep them strong and healthy. Okay? That is candy. Following candy is chocolate. Chocolate, the gift of the cacao tree. Chocolate is a favorite treat for many people. Now, now chocolate is very different from candy because it comes from a plant. It starts as a pod on a cacao tree, and then inside the pod are large seeds called cacao beans. No, so these beans are harvested, dried, and roasted in. And then they are ground into a thick, dark paste. And this paste is mixed with sugar and milk to create the chocolate bars we see in the shop. No? So because it comes from bean, chocolate has a very complex and rich flavor that is different from plain sugar. There are different ways or three choices when you buy a chocolate. We have dark chocolate. This is the most cacao and the least sugar. It tastes a little bit bitter, but it's actually very healthy for your heart. No, that is dark chocolate. Next is milk chocolate. This is the most popular type. It has a lot of milk and sugar mixed in, which makes it very creamy and sweet. And lastly, white chocolate. This is made from the fat of the bean or the cocoa butter, but has no powder. It is very sweet and tastes like vanilla. Okay? So the chocolate does not taste or does not stay for a long time. Chocolate is unique because it melts at almost the exact same temperature as the human body. So this is why when you put a piece of chocolate on your tongue, it turns out, it turns from a solid to a silky liquid almost instantly. We call this mouth feel. No, because it melts so easily, you have to be careful not to keep a chocolate bar in your pocket or on a hot day, or you will have a messy surprise. Okay, that is chocolate. Now, the third one is cookies. The perfect snack. Cookies or biscuits in British English, they are miracle of baking because they start as a dough, which is made of four simple things: flour, sugar, butter, and eggs. And then you mix them together until they are thick, and then you put small dollops or circles of the dough onto a tray. And then when they go into the hot oven, the butter melts and sugar caramelizes. So it turned the dough into a baked treat. No? So that is cookies. Now, the best part about cookies is what you add to them. No, these are what we call mix in. So there are different ways, depending on the preferences of the person as to the toppings. Here in the picture, we see a chocolate chip. No, so that is the most famous cookie in the world. It has all small drops of chocolate that stay soft inside the cookie. Okay, that is cookies, and then followed by ice cream. So the next sweet and snacks food category is ice cream. This is a frozen delight. Ice cream is a delightful treat on hot days. So ice cream, it is really a scientific wonder. So to make it, you must freeze cream and sugar while churning or stirring it at the same time. So if you just freeze the cream, it becomes a hard block of ice. But if you stir while it freezes, air gets trapped inside, and this makes the texture smooth and creamy because it is a dairy product. Well, it is full of calcium, but it also has a lot of sugar to make it taste like a dessert, like a dessert. Okay, so that is ice cream. Just like with cookies, you can also add your toppings for ice cream, just like this one. Okay, toppings are the extra treats you put on top of the ice cream, as I've mentioned earlier. Okay, what kind of topping you can add? We have here sprinkles, hot fudge, whipped cream, another ice cream, no, also cherry. Anyway, we move on to the last one, cake. No, the center of the party. Cake is often served at celebrations and parties. So, cake is the king of the desserts. We don't usually eat cake as a quick snack. We save it for celebrations. So, if there is a birthday, there is a cake. If there is a wedding, there is a cake. A cake is a sign that something happy is happening. Unlike cookies, which are small and individual, a cake is usually large and meant to be shared. So one person cuts the cake into slices so that everyone at the party can have a piece. Okay? That is, a celebration food. And that is the last one for sweets and snack. And of course, that is the last one for the second part or the part two of our discussion on food vocabulary. Now, for this session, we tackled about meat and seafood, grains and bread, drinks, sweet and snacks, and that's that. There are plenty. Okay. Now, any questions, everyone? Any questions? None? Okay. Before we end this discussion, let's do a review on the ESL lesson food vocabulary. Now, again, I've mentioned there are seven categories. First is fruits, which include apple, banana, orange, grape, and strawberry. Next to that is vegetables, which includes carrot, potato, tomato, lettuce, onion. And last one, dairy products, milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, and cream. So these are the different ways to do that. No? Anyway, next is or we started for today's session with meat and seafood. Okay? Yeah. Meat and seafood. Wait for a moment. Where is it? Okay. So meat and seafood. And then next to that is the third one, grains and bread, which includes for a moment, which includes rice, bread, pasta, oats, and cereal. And then last one, not yet. Drinks, of course, to stay hydrated, water, juice, tea, coffee, and soda. Okay? What about this one? Anyway, oh no, the battery is really running low. But anyway, it's already time, I think. We're done. So let me just do my final conclusion, a final goodbye. To conclude our journey through the world of food, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we have learned. I am now reviewing with meat and seafood, which includes chicken, beef, fish, shrimp, and pork, followed by grains and bread, which includes rice, bread, pasta, oats, and cereal. And then drinks, which includes water, juice, tea, coffee, and soda. And last one, sweets and snacks like candy, chocolate, cookies, ice cream, and cake. So, um, that is those are the different food vocabulary, no, you now, by mastering these different words, everyone, you now have the tools to describe your favorite meals, to shop with confidence, and of course to understand the nutrition that your body needs every day. Great job, everyone. Great job for finishing the lesson on food vocabulary. Now in the next meeting we are going to do some exercises, sets of exercises, for me to see that you learn something in our in the two discussions that we had for this topic on food. I hope you learned something and I hope you are ready for the next meeting on different exercises. That is all for today. Good night and have a great rest of the night ahead. Goodbye.